Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on, YouTubers? I'm going to talk to you about the Starbucks controversy in South Korea, and it hasn't made international news by and large yet, but it probably will. Now, just so you guys know, that Starbucks Korea is only partially owned by the Starbucks franchise in America. Typically, the coffee is very similar. At least when I was there, the coffee was very similar. But what happens is, Shinsegae, which is a major department store, they own the majority of the stakes of Starbucks in Korea. Okay, the Starbucks franchise. Well, the CEO of Shinsegae at the time, he made 518, it was called Tank Day, but it was in regards to the Starbucks cup. Well, Tank Day for 518, this is why in Gwangju, in the Jeollanam-do province particularly, Starbucks is being boycotted. That is associated with the way some airborne soldiers as well as armored divisions came down and suppressed a democratic protest in Gwangju, South Korea. And so they thought naming the Tank Day was inappropriate. So they called for a boycott. Well, I think the president of South Korea, Lee Jae-myung, added fuel to the fire, so to speak, and he started saying there was nothing wrong in demanding an apology from Starbucks. And when the Starbucks office in America found out about the 518 Gwangju uprising, they apologized immediately. It's a story that's well known inside South Korea, but outside South Korea, it's not as well known. So, but once Starbucks America found that out, they apologized immediately for it. So the South Koreans that are boycotting Starbucks in South Korea, they're not calling for a boycott of Starbucks when they visit America. They're not going to try to boycott Starbucks when they come to America to visit. It's the Starbucks offices, it's the Starbucks stores in South Korea. Now, there are particularly outside of Gwangju, there are other people that are going to Starbucks because there are people that think that Lee Jae-myung, added fuel to the fire, that it's that he's trying to really add some anti-Americanism to this by boycotting American companies and encouraging people to buy Chinese tea, which is kind of going on, to be honest with you. And then also, Lee Jae-myung has opened up a criminal investigation on the Shinsegae CEO who resigned over making 518 Tank Day. And the CEO apologized immediately. Shinsegae sacked the CEO, but then that's not good enough for Lee Jae-myung. He is also opened up a criminal investigation, and Lee Jae-myung, this is not the first time he's done this. He has really cracked down on freedom of speech, particularly from conservative opponents. This is not the first time he's done this. Lee Jae-myung then says he's wanting to cooperate with America more. Foreign policy is not a major initiative for him, and that's the main reason the Minju Party is doing so well. Most Minju Party supporters nowadays are pro-American, but they think that foreign policy is a secondary issue in a lot of Korean politics, and a lot of the Minju Party members are not going to let their personal anti-Americanism, the Minju politicians are not going to let their personal anti-Americanism affect how they deal with the United States. But Lee Jae-myung is someone that you have to watch very, very closely in that situation. Well, so the situation with Starbucks is outside of Jeollanam-do, there are a lot of people that are going to Starbucks saying, look, the people have a right to boycott Starbucks if they want to. But some people say it was just an honest mistake. The CEO apologized, and Lee Jae-myung is adding fuel to the fire. We're going to buy more Starbucks, particularly this 180-year-old South Korean Vietnam veteran who lived in Seoul. He went to Starbucks and made it a point to keep going back to Starbucks as many times as he could. Because what he's saying is, yes, people have a right to boycott Starbucks if they want to, but the people who thought that the incident was blown way out of proportion and that Lee Jae-myung's using adding fuel to the fire, they say we have a right to go to Starbucks. We have a right to choose to go to Starbucks. We have a right to buy more Starbucks. So while there are Starbucks stores in South Korea that are largely empty, there's ones that are also overcrowded because other South Koreans are going to Starbucks more and more and more, because they think the whole incident was just blown out of proportion. So there's some that think the boycott is justified. There's some that think the boycott was blown way out of proportion and taken out of context. So, was it foolish on the CEO to do that? Yes. Did he have any ill intent behind that? I'm not quite so sure. I do know if there was ill intent behind it, Lee Jae-myung had a lot to do with it, because he has tried to suppress a lot of freedom of speech. And I agreed that South Korea needed to go towards a democratic society. and not have that right-wing dictatorship that they did, even though there was considerable economic success under the right-wing dictatorship. There was not a lot of civil liberties, but there were more civil liberties in South Korea than there were in North Korea at the time. But that's a different video for a different day. So, hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless and bye. Bye-bye.